Today I'm going to show you how to create beautiful studio lighting without having to buy any light modifiers at all. I'm Lindsay Adler and I'm a portrait and fashion photographer based in New York City. I love studio lighting and I love my modifiers, but honestly, sometimes I'm just being a gear nerd. If you really understand lighting, you can create gorgeous and flattering light through very simple setups with no lighting modifiers whatsoever. So perhaps you've just spent maybe a bunch of money on studio lighting and now you're feeling compelled to go out and buy a lot of modifiers. But guess what? You don't have to, especially when you're first starting off. If you really understand the two essential concepts of bouncing and diffusing light, you can create striking results for next to nothing in cost. So let me begin first with one of the most basic rules of lighting that you need to understand. The larger the light source is compared to the size of the subject, the softer the light. So to put this another way, if you can make your light source bigger or bring it closer to your subject, both of these things are going to make your light even softer. Sure, you can achieve this with softboxes. I mean, that's what they're meant for, or umbrellas or other modifiers, but it can also be achieved with no formal modifiers. You can actually make it yourself. There are two main ways that you can create a softer, larger light source. The first is you can bounce the light, and the second is you can diffuse the light. And by the way, this is true whether you're using small speed lights or if you're using the bigger studio strobes. So I want to take some time to show you my favorite lighting techniques, sans modifiers. When you bounce your light source into a neutral surface like a wall, it helps to soften the light by turning it into a larger light source. So basically your small strobe head, when it's bounced against a large white wall, it's suddenly a large, broad light source. It is the wall. The wall is the light source. If you want to reduce shadows, basically put the wall behind you and the light pointed into the wall, and this is going to create very flat, soft light. You'll notice, if you look at my subject's eyes, those catch lights are big and beautiful. Now, if the angle you're at puts the wall and the light to the side and you want less shadows, actually position your subject, kind of turn their head to the wall and the light will wrap around more and it reduces the shadows. So let's say that you want something a little bit moodier, maybe more dramatic. Change your angle so that the wall is far to the side of your subject. The light is bouncing into the wall, and what will happen is it creates more shadows because the light source is off to the side. Now in both of these instances, the light is very soft and very flattering, but it's all based on the relative position of the wall and the light to your subject. This is going to change the amount of shadows and sculpting. Softboxes are great modifiers because they diffuse the light. This not only helps it make it a larger light source, but it's also softer. It has less contrast. It's more flattering to the skin. Believe it or not, you can actually simulate the effect of a softbox without having any formal modifiers at all. The front of a softbox is made of diffusion material, which is very similar to a shower curtain or curtain shears or a thin bed sheet. So why not just use one of those instead? In this instance, I've layered up two curtain shears, one on top of the other, and then placed the light source about 5 feet behind the shear. When the light hits our makeshift modifier, it becomes larger, it becomes diffused, and it creates a beautiful, soft, and flattering light source on our subject. Now, so far I've only talked about using a single light source, but of course you can apply these techniques to multiple light sources. Now, you do have to get creative, but I'm hoping that this video gets your mind and your creativity going. So for example, let's place our diffused light source, the curtain shears, directly behind our subject. What this does is when it's lit, it creates a pure white and wrapping background that creates beautiful highlights on either side of the subject's face. Then let's take another strobe and bounce it off the wall, and this creates another large, soft light source as our main light. And then we could use, let's say, a white piece of foam core or cardboard to fill in the shadows, and this gives us a really beautiful high-key effect. In this example, there's basically no cost to the modifiers, yet we are modifying the light nonetheless, and we're creating really flattering results. And that's the key. It's about knowing the tools at your disposal and really understanding the rules of light. And from there, then you can decide what modifiers you actually need. But to start off with, you may need none at all. Just remember these two key words, bounce and diffuse. If you'd like to check the gear in this video or to learn more, visit Adorama.com. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.